If the universe expands, what is it expanding into? The question, what is the universe expanding into, is a fascinating and complex one, often asked by those trying to understand the nature of our cosmos. To answer this, we need to consider the way we think about the universe itself and the concept of space and time. The nature of the universe's expansion. First, it's important to clarify what we mean by the expansion of the universe. The universe has been expanding since the Big Bang, about 13.8 billion years ago. This expansion is not like an explosion in which matter is flying outward into empty space. Instead, space itself is stretching, and the galaxies within it are moving away from each other. This phenomenon is described by the famous Hubble's law. This idea, first described by Edwin Hubble in the 1920s, which states that galaxies appear to be receding from us, and the farther away they are, the faster they seem to be moving. But if the universe is expanding, the logical question is, what is it expanding into? Is there a beyond that the universe is expanding into, like a balloon inflating into the surrounding air? The short answer, according to modern cosmology, is no, it's not expanding into anything. Here's why. The concept of space itself. In the standard model of cosmology, the expansion of the universe doesn't involve the universe moving into pre-existing space. Instead, it's space itself that is expanding. This means that the distances between galaxies are increasing because the fabric of space itself is stretching. There is no edge of the universe or a boundary where it is expanding into something. Instead, space itself is simply becoming larger, and all of the galaxies are carried along with it. Think of the surface of a balloon as an analogy, though it has limitations. Imagine the balloon's surface as a two-dimensional universe. As the balloon inflates, every point on the surface gets farther from every other point. But the surface itself is still confined to the balloon. There's no outside that the balloon's surface is expanding into. Similarly, our universe is expanding, but there's no external space that it is expanding into. Infinite or finite. Another part of the puzzle is whether the universe is infinite or finite. If the universe is infinite, it's hard to say what it would be expanding into, because there would be no boundary. It would just be expanding in place, and every point within the universe would still be moving away from every other point. If the universe is finite, it could be analogous to the surface of a sphere, but in more than 3 dimensions. In this case, the universe could have no true edge. It might simply loop back on itself in a higher dimensional space. This would mean that the universe could be finite, but unbounded, much like the surface of a sphere. The role of dark energy. Another interesting element in the expansion of the universe is dark energy, a mysterious force that is driving the acceleration of the expansion. As the universe expands, the influence of dark energy causes the rate of expansion to speed up rather than slow down. This raises even more questions about the future of the universe and what will ultimately happen to its expansion. Is there a beyond? When we ask what the universe is expanding into, we may be grappling with the idea of outside the universe. According to current scientific understanding, there is no outside of the universe. The universe encompasses all of space, time, and matter, essentially everything. If space itself is expanding, it's not expanding into some external space, but rather, the expansion is just a change in the geometry of spacetime itself. The expanding spacetime. From the perspective of general relativity, the universe's expansion is actually an expansion of spacetime itself. The fabric of spacetime, which is the combination of space and time, is stretching. This means that distances between objects on cosmological scales are increasing because the very geometry of spacetime is evolving. The limits of our understanding. In the end, the idea of the universe expanding into something might be a misunderstanding of the very nature of the universe itself. Our perceptions and intuitions are shaped by our experiences in a 3-dimensional world, where objects move through space. But the universe's expansion is an entirely different concept that doesn't follow the same rules as objects in our everyday life. As our understanding of cosmology deepens, we may one day gain a better grasp of the true nature of the universe's expansion and what its ultimate fate will be. For now, the key takeaway is that the universe isn't expanding into anything. It's space itself that is stretching and growing, and we are all along for the ride in this ever-expanding cosmos. Conclusion. In summary, when we ask what the universe is expanding into, the answer is that it isn't expanding into anything. The universe is expanding within itself. The expansion refers to the stretching of space-time, causing galaxies and other cosmic structures to move farther apart. There's no external space or outside that the universe is growing into. It's an inherent feature of the universe itself. This is one of the many mind-bending aspects of cosmology and reflects how the universe behaves at the largest scales.